Happy Hawkeye Wednesday, everybody! We have a brand new Hawkeye episode to talk today. Episode 3, full spoilers, echoes is what we're talking about today. A really exciting episode that I loved. And it's absolutely my favorite Hawkeye episode so far. And we got even more hints that Kingpin is coming, guys. I mean, they just kept hinting that there's someone above the Red Street guy, gang, whatever they're called. But that Maya, Echo herself, is not the main boss. But there is someone right above her. And come on, it's Kingpin. It's Kingpin. We know. If you know the comic origins of Echo and everything, it's gotta be Kingpin. I'm calling it right now. And we're gonna talk about that all right now, guys. But of course, thank you so much for watching this. If you're just like me and you're staying up past midnight to watch the new episode of Hawkeye, you're just as crazy as me. Or if you're checking this out later, then you're even awesomer as well. We're all cool here. And if you guys are new here and you love talking Marvel and all sorts of things like that, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as comment down below your guys' overall thoughts on the latest episode of Hawkeye. That's my favorite thing about this, is hearing your guys' theories, your thoughts, and all sorts of things like that. Without further ado, let's dive into this episode in full spoilers. So, episode opens up, gives us a background of Echo herself, Maya, which Echo is a character that I'm not fully familiar with from the comics, but from what I understand and know, I've really liked the character, and the fact that she is getting her own spinoff after Hawkeye, I think is actually really cool. I'm looking forward to see what they do with that, especially after seeing this debut episode for her, because I loved the performance from here. First off, straight up, a lot of the cool comic origins and homages to it. We see the handprint on her face when her father died. That is a clear homage to the comic, as well as her comic suit and the handprint that she has on her. But seeing her as a young girl, seeing how she's different and obviously deaf and also missing one leg. There's so many different aspects to that I think it's awesome to have an actress like this come into play Hawkeye Echo herself. And I think the fact is, last week when it ended on episode 2, I got hyped to see her. And then seeing how episode 3 opens up and gives a lot of development to her. I like when she comes in, she unties Hawkeye and they start having this conversation. And for me, she is very much riddled and running with vengeance, the same way that Ronan at the time during Endgame was doing the same way. They both have different parallels of what they're going after, but Ronan did kill her father, which was Hawkeye, and that is a big correlation to all those different things. And for me, this is the big thing that I loved about this episode, was how action-packed centric it was, but at the same time packing an emotional punch. Seeing everything with Echo, it instantly made this character memorable and something that I want to see more of, and I'm really excited because we have 3 episodes left. We're already at the midpoint, and we know Florence Pugh's Yelena is eventually coming. We also know, come on, Kingpin's coming, because there's a couple little indications here. One, I already kind of mentioned some of the things of Ronan talking about that there's someone's above Maya. There's someone above Maya. They keep mentioning that. I'm like, well, it's got to be Kingpin, because that's how it is in the comics. It's someone who raised her. The other element that was in the flashback where we see her father, but we also see another man where we don't see the face. We just see the hand and the coat. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, that's Kingpin. That's literally Kingpin. And I'm still sticking by my gut that Vincent D'Onofrio will be reprising his role as Kingpin. I think it's something that's been rumored. And I think it's just something that makes absolute sense to bring back that excellent actor into this role. And fingers crossed it actually happens. I know there's some other speculators and leakers out there. I don't really care about much of that. I just know, and going from my gut, this is what I've been feeling ever since Hawkeye was announced, that probably Kingpin would show up in the show. And I'm calling it. He's the one that bought Avengers Tower. It only makes sense as we continue. But again, adding into there, once Hawkeye got out of the little child seat thing and went full on action, the next 30 minutes was phenomenal, because this was like around a 50-minute episode and the action set pieces were great. Now, I was a little bit hesitant after the first episode where I thought the editing was a little bit rough. This time around, the editing was stylized, awesome, and action-packed in every single way. The way that Echo was fighting off Hawkeye and them going back and forth, and then her crushing his freaking hearing aid and him having to work through there, I thought was awesome. But even then, we did get some of the clips with them playing in the car and shooting the arrows and seeing Kate Bishop in there, which, can we just go about and say how fantastic Haley Steinfeld is? I said it last week when I talked about episodes 1 and 2, but I continue to emphasize this enough. She is perfect casting as Kate Bishop. I've always fan casted her, but it's even more amazing than I could have ever imagined, and I love Haley Steinfeld in this role. She is so goddamn good. But of course, once they get in the car, this awesome one-take shot of him reversing the car, shooting it back this way, shooting the arrows, everything we saw in the clip, I thought, this is cool. I didn't watch much from that clip though because I didn't want to be spoiled, and I'm really glad I didn't because I don't know how much they actually showed, but this entire moment had me on the edge of my seat sitting there so excited, and I actually found this to be one of my favorite action set pieces inside Phase 4 of Marvel so far, and especially within the Disney TV plus kind of Marvel stuff that they're doing, which I'm loving because it expands characters like this, because there's one moment in particular after this whole thing, once they get away, they get back to the little hideout that they're in, that apartment, the walk the dog. But Hawkeye, of course, gets a phone call from his youngest son, and Kate Bishop is sitting there having to kind of translate what is going on, what's happening. And for me, I actually got pretty teary-eyed in that moment because it is something heartbreaking, and I feel like if this wasn't a Hawkeye-centric show, we would have not gotten a moment like that in there. And I feel like for me, that is so important to have there because it has been very long that we should have already had something like this for Hawkeye, and I'm glad that we're finally getting it after Endgame, because even after Endgame, I remember sitting there, I'm like, well, do I even care what's going to happen in the MCU yet? But the answer is yes, because I think the aftermath of everything from the blip to everything afterwards of what these characters now have to deal with is some of the most important aspects of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I'm loving what Hawkeye is able to bring to it, and that one particular moment was special. And just seeing, again, the bond between Kate Bishop and Hawkeye starting to grow. Hawkeye's starting to see a lot more greatness in her, and that she isn't just this annoying kid. She is talk the talk, walk the walk. She knows what she's doing, and Hawkeye is gonna be that mentor for her, even if he doesn't believe she is. And I do like how, you know, she's not putting two and two together yet, but she's starting to get the picture that he does know who Ronan is. And I think that's my thing for me, is I liked how he mentioned that Black Widow is the one that killed him, because internally, yeah, technically that is who killed the Ronin. And I'm wondering if his identity will actually come out, because obviously if you follow the Hawkeye comics, that is a big thing that comes out, that everyone kind of just trying to figure out that if he is actually Ronin, and that is why they're going after him. And I assume this will actually come out inside the View, but he has a lot of other enemies to take out, and I think that's the one thing I'm really looking forward to, seeing what they do in Hawkeye. Leading into the rest of the episode, they pretty much head back to Kate Bishop's whole entire apartment. They're hacking into her mom's computer. Hawkeye returns around the corner hearing a creak, and especially if you have the subtitles, you could tell. And the Ronin sword comes out, and it is Tony Dalton's character himself, the swordsman, holding that out, saying, "What are you doing here?" And boom, it ends right there. I didn't see an end credit scene. Maybe I'm wrong, because I know it kind of cuts after a little bit. I was fast forwarding to try and figure out one. I love how the end credit title sequence goes anyways, but this is big. We have episode 4 next week, episode 5 and episode 6. This is the midpoint, so this is only going to start turning the story again in, I think, a different direction. And I'm wondering how long we have to actually wait to see who Maya's boss is. Again, I'm calling it Kingpin. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's Vera Farmiga's character. Maybe it's actually Tony Dalton's character, the swordsman. I have no idea. But that's where we're going to have a great conversation down below in the comment section. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you love talking movies and TV. And if you want to be as crazy with me and stay up to date on all sorts of great information on Hawkeye, this is the channel for you guys. So thank you so much. Comment down below, hit that like and subscribe button, and of course, until next time, stay classy.